At the time, matchup predictor on ESPN has Georgia with a 91.8% chance of winning this game. The game will be played in Sanford Stadium, so it's a home game for Georgia. Currently, the over-under is at 54.5, and the spread is Georgia minus 27.5. So, obviously, the people in Vegas do not see this game being particularly close. But if we look at the tail of the tape, South Carolina is currently averaging 461 yards per game, while Georgia's averaging 472. And South Carolina is giving up 380 yards per game, while Georgia is giving up 242 yards per game. And as we know, Georgia is, one of the best defensive teams in the country. Actually, they are only allowing 5 points per game, which is good for second in the country, while they're 9th in passing yards and 11th in points per game. So, this is the Georgia team that re-upped and reloaded, and though they lost a lot of their players to the draft last year, I mean, they picked up right where they left off. They had great wins against UTM and Ball State to open up the season. This is their first SEC opponent in South Carolina, and though this game isn't going to be particularly close, it'll be nice to see Georgia square up against their first SEC opponent. And this is a South Carolina team that is giving up 26 points per game, which is 88th in the country, while scoring 32 points per game, which is 60th in the country. But this is a South Carolina team that lost to North Carolina in the opener, 31-17. And turned around and beat Furman 47-21 last week. And this is a South Carolina team that relies heavily on the passing attack. And they're averaging 408 yards in the air per game, while only averaging 53 yards per rush. And this is a recipe for disaster for the South Carolina team, because Georgia has a tremendous secondary, and they also do a great job of applying pressure with the front seven and stopping the run. So I think South Carolina is going to struggle to score the ball. Seeing that Georgia likes to run a lot of press man coverage, and really doesn't give up a lot of leverage and space to the receivers because their secondary is so dominant. But I don't see this game being particularly close. I don't think this game will be close at all. I think Georgia's going to get out to an early lead, and they're going to maintain that lead. But it will be interesting to see Spencer Rattler and what progressions he's made during the offseason going up against an SEC opponent. This is the same quarterback that at first had was in talks for Heisman candidacy when he was at Oklahoma, and also was in talks of being potential number 1 pick. So it'll be nice to see moving forward what happens and how this game goes. But I don't think this game is going to be particularly close at all. I currently have Georgia winning this game by a score of 41-17, and so I do think Georgia will cover the spread, but I don't think this game is going to be close at all. And but it's going to be nice to see Georgia square off against their first SEC opponent of the season, and to see Spencer Rattler perform and see how he's progressed with them getting their first real test against the SEC opponent in Georgia, who is number 1 in the nation, and based on what I've seen so far, the best team in the country so far. But with that being said, guys, let's transition to the other game we're going to be previewing. That's Oregon and Hawaii. We're going to cover all that, guys, in the last segment of our show. So be sure to stick around, guys. You're not going to miss it.